Alexander Roberts Dunn was born in what was York, now Toronto, on September 15th, 1833, the first son of John Henry Dunn, a prominent politician and Receiver General of Upper Canada. He first attended Upper Canada College, but following the death of his mother, his father moved the family to England, where he attended Harrow School. On leaving school, he joined the British Army and purchased a commission in the 11th Hussar in 1852. At the outbreak of the Crimean War in 1854, the 11th Hussar were called up to join other elements of the British Army and an allied force made up from France, the Kingdom of Sardinia, and the Ottomans against the Russian Empire. Dunn, now a lieutenant, was soon in the thick of the action, and on October 25th, 1854, he took part in one of the British military's biggest tactical blunders, the ill-fated charge of the Light Brigade during the Battle of Balaclava. The British Light Brigade, a cavalry unit consisting of 600 soldiers, including the 11th Hussars and Lieutenant Dunn, received orders to charge and seize withdrawing enemy artillery pieces. Due to a miscommunication and unclear orders from command, the Light Brigade ended up charging directly at the wrong target and into a heavily fortified Russian artillery position, containing 30,000 infantry and cavalry and supported by 30 or 40 cannon. Despite facing overwhelming odds and coming under intense artillery fire from three sides, the Light Brigade were able to engage the Russian forces at the end of the valley and force them back from the redoubt. When the retreat was finally called, they had to rerun the gauntlet of the cannons again. On his way back, Dunn saw that one of his troopers, Sergeant Robert Bentley, was in trouble. Bentley's horse was badly wounded. Russian lancers had picked Bentley out as a straggler and were attacking him, trying to knock him out of the saddle. Dunn wheeled his horse and returned to Bentley's aid. He killed 2 or 3 of the Russian soldiers, lifted Bentley back up on his horse, and slapped its rear to get it moving back to safety. He then noticed that another soldier from his troop, Private Harvey Levitt, had been dismounted and was being attacked by a Russian hussar. Dunn came to Levitt's aid, killing the Russian hussar with his saber. When he was finally back to safety, Dunn found that only 25 had survived from his troop of 110 cavalrymen. He broke down and cried. After the war ended, Queen Victoria instituted the Victoria Cross in 1856 for conspicuous acts of bravery by any member of the British military, and it was announced that the 11th Hussar could nominate a soldier to receive the Victoria Cross. Lieutenant Dunn was the unanimous choice of the regiment. He is considered the first Canadian to have been awarded the Victoria Cross. He then returned to Toronto and began managing his family's estate north of the city. However, the Indian Mutiny began in 1857, and he helped organise the 100th Regiment of Foot, a British unit raised in Canada, and served as major. However, by the time the new regiment was ready to embark, the mutiny had already been suppressed, and the unit sailed for England instead. In 1864, he transferred to the 33rd Regiment of Foot and was promoted to the rank of colonel, becoming the first Canadian to command a British regiment and the youngest colonel, at the time, in the British Army. In 1868, Dunn and his regiment were sent to the Horn of Africa to take part in the expedition to Abyssinia, more commonly known as Ethiopia. Colonel Alexander Robert Dunn died on January 25, 1868, during a hunting expedition before the military part of the war had even begun. It happened in unusual circumstances, with some sources claiming an accident, some suicide, and some murder. His gravesite went largely forgotten until the last days of the Second World War, when it was found by a British officer. Dunn's burial site has been cared for since 1982 by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission.
Half a league, half a league, half a league forward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, boldly they rode and fell. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell, rode the 600. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in the air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged into the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made. All the world wondered. Honor the charge they made. Honor the Light Brigade. Noble 600.